Hey guys, it's Sam Stein, managing editor at the Bulwark. I am back with Tim Miller and Will Sommer. Apparently, the last video the three of us did together was not too depraved, that they decided to bring us back to talk about something I honestly am a little bit nervous to discuss because it's even more depraved. We're going to get into it.
They're calling us the fingering trio now out there.
Is that what they're calling us?
Yeah.
Okay.
might want to work on that.
Yeah, I think that band name is either taken or no one wants it.
Oh, great.
Let's tell the viewers to subscribe to the feed where they can get more from the fingering trio, and including this coming story on Laura Loomer, her deposition involving Bill Maher, and a truly grotesque line of inquiry involving Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's get right into it. All right, Will, set us up. What is the situation? Why is Laura Loomer sitting for a deposition?
Sure. So people may remember last year there was a point where Trump was hanging out a lot with Laura Loomer. She was on the plane sometimes during the campaign. And Bill Maher went on his show and said, maybe they're sleeping together. Maybe he's cheating on Melania with Laura Loomer.
Who's Trump fucking? And it's not Melania. I think we may have our answer this week. I think it might be Laura Loomer. I'm just saying.
And then so she claims that this created all this trouble. She says she was banned from the plane. And so she sued him in October. And so now it's gotten to the point where she's getting deposed. And somewhat inexplicably, her lawyers now, just recently, a few weeks ago, basically broke the rules of the judge by putting the whole deposition into the court record, even though it's like pretty embarrassing and includes a lot of confidential details that they wanted to keep private. It's really inexplicable, but it's out there now.
Have they explained why that happened?
Well, I think they really want to get Bill Maher's deposition out there because I think, like, look, Bill Maher is a guy who is known to kind of stick his foot in his mouth at times. He recently said told Billy Joel he wants to write a song. I think basically reading between the lines about being a pedophile. So I think basically
I have to defend Bill Maher's honor. Bill was just telling Billy Joel, and just in general, pitching songs to Billy Joel. Not something I would do, but I don't really like Billy Joel. So anyway, different strokes for different folks. But Bill Maher, the pitch was kind of like, I want to do a song about how it's unfair to impugn an older man who falls in love with a younger woman. I don't have it in front of me. And so, God bless him. I think we all know where he's going with that. I don't think it was pedophilia. I think it was, just kind of the Bill oof that he's unapologetic about. Okay. That's my defense.
Well, and this is not a take on Bill Maher. This is a take on Laura Loomer. So we're going to keep it going. So she sits down for this deposition. They're talking a bit about, a bunch of things. Among them is just sort of what she feels like was cost by Bill Maher, like the cost she endured. And Tim, I'm going to come to you here because you've been in this world. You probably at one point had visions of being a White House press secretary. I think you wrote about it. She thought she could have been Donald Trump's version of Jen Psaki or Karine Jean-Pierre. No question.
Stranger things have happened. I mean, they just picked up a guy to make him the commissioner of labor statistics, who I think previously was doing like poo drawings on a piece of paper that said Mr. Trump great. So, it's not a competitive set really getting into the Trump administration. So Laura, I think Laura's got a lot of skills. I don't know if White House press secretary was in her future. By the way, as I wrote, I don't know that it was in my future. It was a dream, but as people who have come to know me on YouTube, I don't really have a good poker face, which is not a great skill set for a press secretary. So I don't think it was in my path either. So I don't think either me or Laura were going there. But her claim in this deposition, I guess, is that had Bill not impugned her by suggesting she's sleeping with Trump, I have thoughts on that as well, she would have been on this path to White House press secretary to then a show on Fox, I guess the Dana Perino model maybe I would have gone with instead of Jen Psaki, and then to boards. Who knows? She could have run
to
the
corporate
Trump
boards. Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she basically says, like, I would cash in. I'm going to get on these boards. I'll get a foundation. I'll get a book deal. I'll get a cable news show. And this was all cost to her supposedly by Bill's kind of offhanded remark.
I do love the fact that she's like, I would have absolutely played the insider game and like, reaped as many rewards from it as possible if I had the opportunity to do it. Like not hiding it. I was going to go through that revolving door and I was going to go through it well. So
to speak.
Wait, you wanted to, so to speak, you wanted to add something about
I did. Well, so just
sleeping with her
again, I know you said this wasn't a Bill Maher take, but he is kind of central to the story. Bill makes the joke about how she's sleeping with Trump. He wasn't the only one. This was out there. I'll just say, and it's important to pull back the curtain here. I have many people who have reached out to me with that same theory or idea that Laura Loomer was sleeping with Donald Trump. And maybe it's the fact that Laura Loomer did come to my defense when Carrie Lake attacked me at a Phoenix bar and de-escalated. Maybe I'm a little more sympathetic to her than I should otherwise be. I don't know. I do appreciate her de-escalation there. But I think, here's what I think. I've spent probably too much brain power on this. I don't think Donald Trump's dick works anymore, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't think his dick works. And I feel like if it did, we would know about it.
Sorry, what?
I mean, he's not good at secrets.
What are you talking?
He's not good at secrets. He has a decades-long career of sexual harassment and misconduct and assault, and he's on audio talking about how he just goes up to women, and he kisses them, and he grabs them. And I found it interesting that since becoming president, you don't really hear stories like that. And I find
just to be clear, you think the president of the United States
dick doesn't work?
Should I know, but you think that he in a universe where his dick did work, you think Donald Trump would be outwardly bragging about his dick working? I just think
we would hear from women that are talking about Trump being Trump. I just don't think a dog changes his tricks. Like he's an old dog.
I'm going to have to disagree respectfully with this one.
So let me just go back to the theory. The theory of the case being offered by the Laura Loomer and Donald Trump are having an affair, people, is that Donald Trump becomes the most powerful man in the world in 2016. He has a lifetime record of just being a total hound dog, like a debauched hound dog at best. It's the nicest thing you could say about his treatment of women. And he gets in there. He gets in the White House. Melania's gone a lot. He's alone. And the one person he has an affair with is Laura Loomer? That's the story?
Say that. I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm just saying I don't think even if
I'm not
were having
it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I'm on Laura Loomer's side of it. I don't think there should be a defamation suit on this, but just on the merits of the story, I'm not buying that story. You're gonna have to sell me on a different, better conspiracy than this.
This is why they call us the fingering trio. We will agree to disagree on that one.
Much to think about, for sure.
Yeah, definitely might not edit
the logic pattern there didn't work for you?
No, we're going to move on because there's parts of this transcript of the deposition that I just want to read and get reactions to because they're going back and forth. And as Will notes in his piece, which people should read, several pages of the deposition are taken up by Loomer's September 2024 claim that her arch enemy, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, has Arby's in her pants. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to make it through this.
Like
First of all,
the roast beef burglar.
We're going to get to that. Well, why are they arch enemies? Can you just set the stage before I try to read this transcript without dying?
I mean, briefly, this is like a years-long feud, but basically, like, I think fundamentally Laura just like really hates other conservative women. I mean, I think like the nastiness she displays towards them is like a pretty unique part of her personality. But basically, I think she doesn't like that there's this other prominent conservative woman. Also, Milo Yiannopoulos at one point worked for Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Laura and Milo have had a very bitter falling out. And so I think Marjorie kind of like was added on to that feud.
I'm sorry, I must interject here really briefly, since you mentioned Milo, that later in the evening, after I had another drink at this mega cocktail hour where I was accosted by Carrie Lake, when I asked Laura, I went up to her a little later and I was like, why did you intervene on my behalf? And she said, there's another homosexual at this party I have my sights on. And then she ended up getting up in Milo's grill. And like they started screaming at each other in a different corner of the bar.
I'm sorry. What does that mean? She has to even the ledger?
I didn't ask any follow-up questions.
If I'm going to go after one homo, I got to protect the other homo.
I didn't ask any follow-ups. I wasn't going to mention it, but since Milo came up, I felt like it was important context.
All right. I'm going to try to get through this. I don't know how far I'm going to get. I'm going to just read from the piece here. Loomer was referencing Marjorie Taylor Greene's alleged affair with a man who once dressed up as a Street Fighter character. This is all real, okay? It's clear that Loomer, Will writes, was making a pejorative reference when she said Arby's in your pants, popular on the right to the anatomy of promiscuous women. What Tim was discussing.
I wasn't discussing anything. I called it the roast beef burger, like the hamburger. It was a play on McDonald's.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. All right. But in the deposition, Loomer apparently couldn't admit that was her reference point. She instead pretended that she meant Greene actually puts Arby's roast beef.
Should Will read the transcript? We might have to ask Will to read the transcript.
Sure.
Will, could you read the transcript for us?
No, I got it. Let's see how far I can go.
Okay.
Arby's roast beef sandwiches in her pants. Here's just a small portion of the roast beef exchange. Bulger, this is the HBO lawyer. So what is your basis for saying...
I think Will should do it.
All right. Real quick here. Let me pull this out.
Wait, I got it. So what is the basis for saying she had Arby's in her pants? Loomer, because I know she likes to eat at Arby's. Bulger, and she likes to put it in her pants. You know that? Loomer, yeah. Bulger, she puts Arby's in her pants. Loomer, yeah, she does. Bulger, okay. If I asked Marjorie Taylor Greene, she would tell you that she puts Arby's in her pants. Loomer, it's my best belief that she would tell you that. Yes. Bulger. Okay. Are you making a derogatory comment about her sex life by talking about Arby's in her pants? This is a fucking court transcript. Loomer, no, I'm talking about Arby's sandwiches. I'm talking about Arby's. I'm a very direct person. If I was making a derogatory comment, I would have said it.
If I was making a derogatory comment, I would have called it
this is the best
double
part.
Beef and cheddar.
Yeah, this is the best part. As Will writes, not helping her case, Loomer tweeted the roast beef insult again today. That would be Monday, asking Greene's boyfriend, right-wing reporter Brian Glenn, quote, how does it feel to eat Arby's every day? Oh my God. What the hell is wrong?
I don't know. I don't understand could you explain the reference to me there? Why would that be sexual? Maybe Will. Brian Glenn also likes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I encourage people to
look curly fries.
Go to Urban Dictionary. You know, I mean, it is really crazy that she's doing this thing about, you know, acting like the sandwich is in the pants and then just saying, but you know, there's no greater meaning here. I you know, that's all I can say about it. And the lawyer at one point is just like you're a coward. Like, why won't you just say what you mean? And Laura's like, what? You know, it gets very tense.
I mean, she literally is saying she stuffs an Arby's roast beef sandwich in her pants. It makes no sense at all.
When was the last time you had Arby's,
sure.
Stan?
You know, I'm not an Arby's guy. I probably have had it once or twice.
Really.
What's their tagline? You know, something the meats. You know, I forget what it is called, but
we got the meats. And at one point in the transcripts, Laura's lawyer just says, "Where's the meat?" You know, kind of is joking around.
That's
all right.
I was if anybody's from St. Louis out there, a Lion's Choice is the place to go if you're actually looking for a roast beef sandwich in the real sense, not in the Brian Glenn going out to lunch with his girlfriend sense.
Loomer, back to her. She, as Will notes, this is like maybe the grossest she's gotten, but it's not like totally out of character. She at one point declared that Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker wanted to flash his penis at women. And yet here she is at the like height of her powers. Arguably, you know, taking more scalps than anyone in the industry, than the journalism industry. How do you reckon that, Will?
You know, I think it's, how do I reckon it? I don't know. We live in hell. You know, you know, I mean, as you said, I mean, this can come off as very like why are we talking about this, you know, person who's the roast beef and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I think it heightens and sort of underlines the way the government is run now, where you have someone like this who she just in the past 2 weeks, she got the guy who's in charge of vaccines at the FDA fired, though now he's back. She got the top lawyer at the NSA fired, you know, and now the big thing is she's going after this Medal of Honor winner who got his leg nearly blown off when he tackled a suicide bomber. And she said, well, this guy spoke, at the Democratic convention. The Army should basically blacklist this guy.
Secretary Army, is she also going after the Secretary of the Army right now?
Yeah, because he gave this guy the award.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's a lot of scalps. And I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene has her own power as well. Been seeing a lot of strange new respect out there in the world for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Though she was also, did we not do the tweet where she called her a Jezebel yesterday? Didn't that?
Oh, can we do that one? I'm going to pull that one up. Laura Loomer tweeting yesterday. I'm going to read it. I wish at Rep MTG, that'd be Marjorie Taylor Greene, got on her knees for her Lord and Savior as much as she got on her knees for men who aren't her husband. Just another fake Christian. Can you call yourself a Christian when your mouth is full? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. When your mouth is full of other men's cock? Question mark. I may be Jewish, but at least I'm not a Jezebel.
One of your people, Sam. Well, is he Jewish? Marjorie, as a congresswoman, has kind of, I think probably kind of a pretty mild reply from MTG. She replied, she has no, Laura Loomer viciously attacks those of us who are President Trump's most loyal, original MAGA supporters. She has no long-term relationships because she psychotically turns on everyone. Laura Loomer is the most unstable person and worst liability to ever walk into the Oval Office.
What about Loomer's tweets suggest instability?
I think that's interesting. And worst ever the Oval Office, that means worse than anyone in the Biden crime family, quote unquote, worse than, I don't know, Bill Ayers ever walked. Worse than anybody. Wow. MTG. It's getting
there is
intense.
A little bit of strange new respect for MTG, I suppose.
Not in my quarters, but out there.
She does definitely come off, I think, as a little more like respectable here.
Well, that and the Gaza stuff is kind of interesting turn for her too. So I'm not saying she's a liberal hero or anything, but very interesting times. All right. Anyone? I was going to make Will do the segment while eating Arby's, but he thought that was grotesque. So
at least you could have got some curly fries instead of the roast beef, and the curly fries are kind of nice.
Fine, but I think that's not the point.
You're not a curly
line.
Fries man?
I think you're missing the point here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gay, so I don't really know.
Do you really not know what she was referring to?
Equipment.
You must.
I mean,
I think
you don't know what. Wait, hold on. You don't know.
She had a roast beef, big beef and cheddar in her pants, and it's like
I can't tell if you're serious.
Laura did testify under oath.
Wait, hold on. I need to know.
I fucking know. I'm not.
Okay,
I know. I know. I just like to think about it.
All right, folks, if you're an Arby's corporate rep who's happening to be watching this and you're interested in just sponsoring some content and advertising, I can put you in touch with the right person at the Bulwark and we can set up an exchange here. And if not, I totally understand. I don't know if I would want to be advertising off of this stuff anyway.
Lion's choice. We'll take your advertising.
Lean into it. Why not? Will, any final thoughts or you just want to leave it there?
It's a lot to take in. But this lawsuit is ongoing and I think there's more revelations ahead.
Great.
Oh, I can't wait. Perhaps more depositions. We'll see. All right, Tim, Will, thanks so much. Arby's, thanks a bunch. Loomer, keep it coming. MTG, what is with the balloons, Tim? Thanks for the balloons. All right, that's it for us. Hopefully we never do something like this again. If we do, and if you want to see it, subscribe to the feed. Talk to you guys later.